Hello, everyone, and I would like to thank you for viewing my presentation on the coaching sessions that I've endured in the last couple of weeks. The purpose of the coaching sessions were essentially to get a better understanding of how education works on the collegiate level. While most people endure education from Head Start on up to the 12th grade level, I have the pleasure of dealing with the community college and what it represents as its relationship for the low country and coastal savannah region here. And essentially, the elements of coaching are primarily based off the Veteran Resource Center. We are a community of three bases: Paris Island, Air Station, and the Naval Hospital. And each one of these bring in a huge population of active duty military veterans and their dependents into the college. And it is very essential to get a better understanding from someone who is a veteran, like the director of the Veteran Resource Center, to understand what she is experiencing as a whole. I think a lot of civilians don't necessarily recognize what it's like to deal with the political level of a community college and also be a veteran yourself. So, what I've done with this recording, with the series of recording sessions, is I have gathered um, information based off three models: cognitive, reflective, and peer coaching. And what these three do essentially is to facilitate a conversation in which you can pick on various issues that have occurred and how to improve for not only myself but the director as well as the students, current and prospective students who come on board who are seeking guidance in a way that is non-traditional. And in a sense, we are non-traditional educators because we don't necessarily come up with a curriculum on a regular basis. We don't teach from traditional lesson plans. But whatever we do in this sense is we propose different ways of interaction between students and their peers, students and the non-traditional educator, students and the educator to achieve personal and professional goals. And the biggest frustration that a non traditional educator may have is that they don't feel like they have a voice. And that's where I come in because I'm there to motivate, to mentor, to give her the guidance, to listen out in preparation of future meetings, future interaction with students, those things of that nature. So I welcome you all to get an understanding through the different coaching sessions that have occurred within the last 3 weeks because it's a very interesting and unfamiliar conversation in a sense. So thank you and stay tuned.
Already. Exactly. And with anything, how do we measure the performance level of the students who are in these such programs?
And that's something we need to figure out because for us to be able to gauge if they're successful, we have to first know what their goals are. So, like, they could come in and say, I want to take 32 credits and then transfer to a 4-year college. I want to raise my GPA. I want to apply to a 4-year college. Okay, great. So we have a path for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you are here, got 3 kids, you need your A&P license, and you're moving back to Texas. Okay, so we have a path for that. Or, you want to stay here and take the whole criminal justice program and then move on and become a police officer. So we have a path for that. But the guy that only takes 18 or 30 credits and then leaves to go to another school, he looks like a failure for the school because he didn't graduate and he didn't get a certificate and he didn't complete anything.
Exactly.
But that's an unfair gauge. Like, they come in and their goal is this. If they reach their goal, then they were successful. Then we were successful in helping them get to where they needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if their goal is to, just start a couple classes and then they relocate. Okay, that's great. Like, so then we put them in the path of take English, take classes that you can transfer somewhere else, and then kind of explain to them for future reference why it's important for them to make sure that the school's regionally accredited. Because that way you can keep transferring your credits and you don't get stuck with all these credits that don't go anywhere.
And that's why, it's important for all offices to know that we help them out with the admissions processes. We tell them about the GI Bill, we tell them about TA.
Right.
But how do we cover them from admissions all the way up until graduation or the time they're deciding to transfer over to another institution? I know I've been exposed to the South Carolina transfer tracking system that allows the students to fully understand what credits will transfer over, because at a community college, technical college, none credits do not transfer.
Right. And I mean, I wish I had a better answer. I mean, I've looked at what other schools have. Some schools use some schools will just hire someone to create an entire program where it shows them, they can say what their job was in the military, what their rank was when they got out, and the years that they were in, and it will tell you, you have 16 credits under business and management, or you have 32 credits because you were in military police under criminal justice. And so, so that makes it easier for them. Or there's a way to say, or they make it public, like from these colleges, these are the credits that we accept. And I mean, things like that would make it easier for them to better judge what they need to do, and make it quicker for them. But really for us internally, we need to find a way to track this. Like almost have a dashboard, like currently this is where we're at. These are the people we haven't talked to yet. This is like our current success percentage, so that way, and it's on all our dashboards, yours, mine, Nancy's, and then that's something we can say, oh, well, this is where we're at, and we can just continuously track it. So if there's somewhere that I need to pick up the slack, or you need to pick up the slack, or Henry, then we can do that.
I know, because a lot of schools, we focus on graduation and the retention rate. And with that being said, we have created or established these tools for students to find the ability to transfer over to colleges like the Citadel. And that makes things a little bit better for us entirely.
Right.
Because not all students are going to transfer, and most of them will stay around.
Right.
But especially for our active duty military and their dependents, they will continuously travel around the world until they get out.
Right. So like the South Carolina transfer thing doesn't really help them, because but we can't really say here is every school in the United States and this is how your credits will transfer. Like we can't do that. I mean, the most we can do is if you at least know where you're going to go next, contact your next school.
Exactly.
Start finding out each semester, like, okay, lay out what classes you want to take and say, are these going to transfer to you?
Exactly.
And make those connections in advance. And if you don't know, then just stick with general classes, because those predominantly will transfer. Please don't take an electronics class. Please don't take a plumbing class, because it is not going to transfer.
Or even with health sciences, don't take a
Right.
physical therapist assistant class and you're trying to be a physical therapist, because those credits don't transfer.
Right.
And for us, the ultimate goal, I think, is to be the leadway for the students who are not necessarily sure how to contact their next institution to see which credits will actually transfer.
Right.
Give them exposure to the computers, have them explore the college website, and also communicate with students and say, hey, this is your transcript, this is the information that you need to at least show them before you can get your official transcript, so you'll have an idea. Because
Right.
otherwise it's going to be a waste of money.
Well, exactly. Or even talk to them and say, hey, man, oh, you're getting ready to transfer, you're going somewhere else. Hey, do yourself a favor. Get a couple copies of your transcript. Take it with you. Like if you're going over there,
Exactly.
just take it with you. So that way you can hit the floor running. Because you know you're going to need it. You already know you're going to need it. Like when you order one high school transcript, you should probably just order like 6 and then just hold on to them, because you're going to need it at some point. If you're going to keep transferring schools, it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, in the process, how long do you think it would take us to come up with a system that would be effective to cover this tracking ground?
I mean, I think realistically and hopefully, I would like to be able to test it in the fall but I think by spring, we should be able to have something that is complete and works effectively. As long as we can get our people to do it, or if we can find something we can buy to put in. If we can find something to buy to put in, then we're golden. We could probably test it in the summer, which would be optimal because it's the least amount of students coming in. But if not, we test it in the fall and then really run with it by spring.
Exactly. And that's primarily what we want to do, is make sure that in the near future we are tracking the performance, because it's been almost 4 years since we launched the VRC, and these students are coming and going so easily.
Right, and we've seen quite a bit of growth in the amount of students we have because of the programs that we're offering. So now we just really need to be able to track that and accurately follow up with them. Like, where are you now? Like, how was your transition? Like, and then see what we can do better. Like, okay, so you got to a new school, but these classes didn't transfer. Well, that's good to know, you know, so. And then even maybe then counsel them a little bit, well, did they not transfer? Did you appeal it? You know, like, remember that that's an option, you know, for you.
And the best thing too is to reflect on a student who might have attended a school that a student wants to attend and see how their processes work.
And it would be easy to do that if we tracked them. You know what I mean? If we kept track of what they were doing. Not to mention when our funding peeps come back and they maybe start asking questions, it's way better to have legitimate numbers and knowledge than to just say, well, probably, or, you know, we've kept in touch with this group of people. I mean, and really it would allow us to apply for other funding, because I'd love to have that veteran upward bound. I'd love to have veteran upward bound because they need it. I mean, like 97% of our veterans fail the math test. 97.
Exactly. And math is no easy subject either.
Right. But then they're wasting their GI Bill if they're taking 6 developmental classes to get where they need